Bien, vamos a continuar con la siguiente conferencia. Les recuerdo que si no tienen todavía quien lo requiera, el servicio de traducción simultánea, afuera del salón pueden tener el aparato. Bien, a continuación, la plática es sobre turismo y desarrollo sostenible. Me permito presentarles a nuestro conferencista. Él es Randy Durband, es CEO del Consejo Global de Turismo Sostenible. Randy ha colaborado en el sector turístico por más de 20 años en posiciones de liderazgo senior con algunos de los mejores turoperadores de Estados Unidos, sirviendo como presidente de Travcoa, de Intrav y Cruise Lines, además de ocupar la posición de vicepresidente ejecutivo de Talk World Discovery. Randy trabajó en el tema de turismo sostenible como asesor, consultor y orador, aportando su conocimiento del negocio de los viajes, su red global de profesionales de viajes y una pasión por la sostenibilidad para apoyar el GSTC y el Movimiento General de Turismo Sostenible. Ha ocupado varios puestos en la Junta y miembro de comités en organizaciones de viajes y turismo. Actualmente, como les conté, Randy es el CEO del Consejo Global de Turismo Sostenible. Vamos a recibirlo con un fuerte aplauso.
Gracias. Wow. Buenos días. Sorry, I'll have to speak in English for you. I hope that's okay. I'm very happy to be here with you. If you're not already convinced that you should be sustainable from the previous presentation and from other experiences in life, I've been asked to talk to you today about the business imperatives for being sustainable. So that will be my theme. So very happy to be with you. So let me first tell you, I need to figure out how to. Is this the right one? There we go, sorry, now to go back. Okay, so the organization I'm with is an NGO that was created by the United Nations system. The UNWTO, UN Environment, Rainforest Alliance, active here in Latin America, and the United Nations Foundation created us to create standards for sustainable tourism globally. So we have universal principles that are applied to local context. So we have two sets of standards, one for the private sector and one for the public sector. Here in Mexico, your ministry had the progressive wisdom when we were new, only 11 years ago, to use our new system as the basis of your national system. Very progressive. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it mentions that los criterios globales, that's us, are universal principles that are designed to be used locally or nationally. And the two organizations that they use here in Mexico, EarthCheck and Rainforest Alliance, work very much with us. So the system you have in place here nationally is absolutely perfect because we play a number of roles. First, we create those standards. Second, we accredit certification bodies. And both Rainforest Alliance and EarthCheck are accredited by us. So both of them are part of our universal global framework, and they have proof of highest standards. So your program, Distintivo SA, excellent program, well constructed, and I think the best of it is in the future based on hopefully what you'll learn in my presentation about where we're going with our whole global framework. So let's talk about business imperatives for sustainability. First of all, cost savings. Money is to be saved by going sustainably. You could argue that sustainable tourism is simply good management. In the past, we would say a hotel might need 2 years to get the money back from some investments in changing an old building. Now, the technology is such that within 6 months, you can get money back already paid for and all increased profits in the future. That's on energy issues. Some of them free of cost. Look what's happening with technology. LED, you can just simply change the light bulb today. So many things are easy. Some still need investment and time, but the investment is going down, down, down for everything on transport, on energy and buildings and so forth. Food waste. This is a topic that we've only been talking about for a couple of years. Hotels around the world are now saving huge money just by measuring the food at the breakfast buffet and so forth. Big savings. I know of a hotel that the savings were so large when they brought a consultant in to advise them that the chef was too embarrassed to take all the cost savings. So he started buying some more expensive ingredients. So there's real money to be saved in all aspects of sustainability. So the cost savings are real. They're more immediate today than they ever were in the future. It makes sense. Other elements beyond cost savings. Let's think about the market and the traveler and what they want. B2C, I'm sure you're familiar with B2C, business to consumer demand for responsible, sustainable travel is growing. Travelers more and more expect a hotel, a tour operator, a destination to operate sustainably. But we have to admit, we have to be honest with ourselves that the demand seems soft. When a person books travel, when you book travel, don't we first look for price? We still do. We're looking for price, we're looking for a product that feels good to me. But the awareness and the concern of all travelers throughout the world is increasing that we need more sustainable. And the important point is when they arrive, they expect it more and more. All societies, we have market research on this globally, everybody all around the world is expecting it more and more. So if you think that we don't have a business need because the client's not asking for it, that's wrong thinking. Because when they arrive, they more and more want it and they're critical. And then some issues just suddenly become very popular. Suddenly, plastics. There's now much more awareness in the world that we're eating plastics. It's in our fish. It's in our full food supply globally. We didn't know that 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Now most people know that. So the information goes up. So suddenly, if you're a hotel or a restaurant, you need to know about these things. So new issues develop. Another element of sustainability within our standards are not just about environmental protection. They include social elements and cultural preservation. We're in a people-to-people business. When we talk about B2B, or B2C, I should say, business to consumer, in travel and tourism, it's P2P, people to people. We're about service, aren't we? The traveler needs service at all levels. So we're in the people business. We know throughout the world, employees are more satisfied working for a company that's doing the right thing for social justice, for environmental protection. We know from global research that the traveler more and more wants these things. So from a people, human resource standpoint, retaining your customers, retaining your employees, you need to get more and more in terms of responsible policies and practices. I'm going to talk about this issue of B2B, business to business, preferential procurement in a few minutes, and you'll see what I mean, but I want to put on a list here. In the previous presentation, you heard about Mexico's rich natural heritage. You have such a rich cultural heritage. These things are too fragile, too important to leave to one or two government agencies. All of us must participate in the preservation of our natural heritage and cultural heritage. It's too complex, it's too difficult to do it alone. We all have to engage. I worked 24 years for tour operators traveling all around the world, and I worked on trade associations, and I know that we as an industry, we never really paid our fair share of protecting cultural heritage and natural heritage. The private sector needs to get engaged. We need to train our staff. We need to make our visitors, our clients aware of how to protect. It's our product as businesses that we're selling. If we're not helping protect that product, what do we have to sell 10 years from now, or even 5 years from now? So we've got all those elements. I would add to it shareholder satisfaction. Ownership wants to do the right thing in many cases. And I would make this argument. If you don't do the right thing today, voluntarily, as a business, there will be more and more need in the future for government regulation. Because as demand in the world goes up, the incredible demand we're seeing from all the factors, the Chinese market, the Asian market in general, global middle class growing, technologies such as Airbnb and the sharing economy makes distribution easier. Demand is growing, growing, growing. So it's never been a better time for finding clients. But we have to preserve those assets, the destinations. We have to do all the things that are inherent in the broad view of sustainability that I've spoken about. If we don't do the right thing today or tomorrow, eventually we'll be forced to. And I think that's a business imperative, is to engage at the business level to do the right thing before regulation comes later. Let me talk about what I mean by preferential procurement. And our organization is really developing a scheme where we're allowing for this sort of thing to happen. This is happening in other sectors. Since 1993, the Forest Stewardship Council, FSC, puts an eco-label on sustainably produced wood and paper. MSC does this for sustainably produced fish and seafood. We were created to follow after them. The conservation community, led by WWF and other conservation organizations, have supported this framework over time, and they convince large organizations. This organization, TUI Group, is European-owned, also known in Mexico as Thompson Travel. They have 150 plus brands. They're everywhere in the world, enormous company. They started with some EU mandates for carbon emissions and decided to go in a big way on sustainability. They own hotels all over the world, including Mexico, and their goal right now is that they use the GSDC framework, that certification bodies that use our framework, they're showing preference for hotels that are certified to our framework. They're starting with their own hotels. Right now they have 80% of the hotels that they own and operate around the world certified. When they reach 100%, they're going to start showing preferential contracting for hotels that are certified to this framework. So it's coming, so you may want to be prepared for it. Their targets right now are based on 2020. So we're going to see in 2019, 2020, they'll set probably some new targets, and we think they'll be a little bit more aggressive because, to their credit, they wanted to first get their own house in order and do their own hotels that they own and operate. Then they're going to push their entire supply chain. WWF is working with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, the second largest cruise line in the world, which you're probably familiar with. Many brands, they come to Mexico, both the Pacific and the Atlantic coast, big numbers. They carry 5 million passengers per year. In their agreement with WWF to help green their supply chain, they have carbon emissions targets, and they have these two targets, which are part of the scheme I'm trying to describe. They want to have all the fish and seafood served on all their ships, 90% of it by 2020, certified sustainable. This is a remarkable push to green their supply chain. They want, when the client gets off the ship for a shore excursion or just even a simple transfer, they want that tour operator or that transport company to be certified sustainable. And they started this last year. They're showing preferential contracting for all those local operators that greet their client off the ship. They want them certified because they see the power in that contracting process that they can have tremendous impacts. WWF has done this research. When they follow this pattern, when they reach 25% of market share producers and push them and encourage them and convince them to do this sort of preferential contracting, those suppliers, that transport company that greets that Royal Caribbean client, has other clients, right? So if this supplier is now operating more sustainably, they're operating probably more sustainably for their other clients because they've changed their business process. So WWF's research shows that by working on this framework in a given sector or subsector, if they can convince the producers of 25% of the market share, they actually influence 40 to 50% of all the production. So this model is being aggressively pursued. More close to home, Eastern Canada Transat Company has a lot of Mexico product, and they show preferential treatment for their hotels. They want only hotels that are certified sustainable. So here are a few of the more prominent organizations that are doing this. This is all quite new. And this is building, and we're seeing businesses around the world. And my challenge to you is that if you're a large business, I hope you can see the power of doing this where you can have verified, sustainable supply chain, because this is a very credible system. Those certification bodies that are doing this are solid. They've gotten accredited by us. We follow ISO standards and UN guidelines for how to accredit. Nothing could be more credible in terms of this structure. It's built with a very strong foundation. So if you're a large business, I urge you to follow this pattern. If you're a small business, this is coming. And you want to be prepared for it and move in the right direction. Because certification is not easy. Our mission as an organization is to push for sustainability. So we have various programs and training and so forth and raising awareness. I highly encourage you to go to our website. I'm very happy to announce that just yesterday we launched a Spanish language website. So we're very happy about that. So the GSTC criteria are free of charge in the public domain. They're there for your educational purposes and awareness raising. So please use them as a tool, and please use the overall framework. And I want to mention two lovely ladies who are in the final panel of this session today. We had 14 destinations in the world that helped us field test and finalize our destination criteria in 2012 and 2013. And both of the drivers of that process are here with us today. My two dear friends, Beatriz from Riviera Maya and Pati Ruiz from Sierra Gorda. They're very inspiring speakers, so stay for them at the end of the session. So there's some people in Mexico that work with us and know about us in addition to what I put on Distintivo essay, if I said it correctly. Thank you for your attention. Wish you well and good luck.
Thank you, Randy, very much. Thank you. Y le quiero pedir ahora a Eduardo Cordero, miembro del Consejo Consultivo del CNET. Eduardo, si eres tan amable de acompañarnos a hacer la entrega a Randy de un reconocimiento y un agradecimiento por estar con nosotros esta mañana aquí. Si se quieren poner, por favor, un poco al frente para la fotografía. Muchas gracias. Gracias a Randy y gracias a Eduardo. Y bueno, si ustedes tienen interés en seguir platicando con Rodolfo Rizzo y con Randy Durband, van a estar aquí durante la mañana para que puedan a lo mejor intercambiar. Se quedaron con ganas de algunas preguntas. Muy bien. Entonces, ellos van a estar aquí con nosotros para que puedan platicar con ellos.